Hi everybody. So today I wanted to practice rounding in the tens place and the hundreds place because after this you are going to take a small quiz just to see where you're at and how you're doing with rounding. So let's start with our first number. We're going to do 42. So I want you to write this down on your paper while we're doing it together. So I have 42. I'd like to round it to the tens place. So I'm going to underline my 4 and circle my 2. And then I'm going to write down the two tens that 42 falls between. So I have 40 and 50. So again, you look right here, you look at your 10 spot and it has a 4. So you know you're going to start with 40 and then add 10 more to get 50. And then you come up to the 2 and the 2 is less than 5. So remember 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going back down. So you're going to go back down to this number 40. So 42 rounds to 40. I want to do another number rounding to the tens. Let's do 75. Do 75. We are going to underline our 7 and circle our 5 because the 7 is in the 10 spot, and then you circle the number that is next door, the digit that is next door. And then you write down your two tens that it falls between. So since there's a 7 in my 10 spot, you're going to write 70, and then 10 more is 80. And then you come to the circled number, and since the circled number is 5, you are going to go up to 80. So 75 rounds up to 80. All right, so I still want us to round to the tens. But now my number is 243. 243. So since I'm still rounding to the tens, we are underlining the 10 spot, so the 4, and then we're circling the 3. So still underlining that 4, circling the 3. We know that 2 is just going to carry down, so I'm going to put a 2 here and a 2 here. And then we're going to forget about that 2. Like it's not even there. And now we're just looking at the 43. And 43 falls in between 40 and 50. And then you look at that 3, and that 3 tells me I'm going to go back down to 240. Going to round down. So 243 rounds to 240. And I want to do one more 10. So let's do 634. 634. Again, with my tens, I'm going to underline the number in my tens and circle my ones. So you underline the 3, circle the 4. That 6 is just along for the ride, so you can put them both down there. And then forget about that 6. And worry about that 34. So that 34 falls in between 30 and 40. And then you look at your circled number, 4, and that is going to go down. So you're going to round down to 630. So 634 rounds to 630. And notice when you're rounding in the tens that you only have 1 0. You only have 1 0. All right. So we've been doing that for a couple days, and you guys have been getting the hang of it. So yesterday I introduced hundreds, so we're going to keep practicing that today. So we're going to round 368 to the hundred. So now we're focusing on hundreds. Hundreds. So because I'm rounding to my hundreds, I'm underlining my 100 spot, which is my 3, and circling my 10 spot, which is my 6. And then now I have to figure out 368 falls between what two hundreds? And that's going to be 300 and 400. And again, I know this because that 3 is in the 100 spot, And then, so I start with my 300, and then I just add 100 to 400. So if this was on a number line, it'd be 300, and then 368 would be in between, and then 400. And then, so I have my 200s, and then I look at my 6, and my 6 tells me I'm going to go up. And so 368 rounds to 400. All right. Let's try another one. Let's do 231. And I want to round to my 100, so I'm underlining my 100 spot, which is my 2, and circling my 1. No, sorry, I'm circling my 3, not my 1. Circling my 3. And then I'm writing down my hundreds that it falls between, so it falls between 200 and 300. And then I go to my circled number, which is my 3, and my 3 tells me I'm going to go down to 200. So 231 rounds down to 200. That means on the number line it's closer to 200 than 300. All right. And this time I'm going to throw 4 digits in there. So we're going to do 3,691. So 3,691. We are still rounding to the hundreds place. So I'm underlining my hundreds, circling my 10 spot. So I underlined my 6, circled my 9. And then same thing as before, that 3 is just along for the ride. So you can just put down your 3 and then get rid of it. Don't worry about it. And then you're going to focus on 691. And 691 falls between 600 and 700. And then my 9 is circled. And so that 9 tells me I'm going to go up. And 3,691 rounds to 3,700. And again, when you round to the hundreds, you're going to have 2 zeros. 2 zeros. So like I said, in tens you only had 1 0, in hundreds you have 2 zeros. Let's try another one of those. Let's do 5,327. 5,327. So because it says hundreds, you're underlining the 3, you're circling the 2. You underline the spot that you were rounding to, so underline the 3, circle the 2. You're bringing down that 5, and then you're forgetting about it for a second. You brought down those 5. Then you're focusing on 327, and 327 falls between 300 and 400. And then that 2 is circled, and it tells me to round down. So 5,327 rounds to 5,300. And again, you see those 2 zeros. 2 zeros. All right. Now I'm actually going to take one number, and we're going to first round it to the 10 spot, and then we'll round it to the 100 spot. So let's do 756. 756. So first I'm going to round it to my 10 spot. So I'm underlining my 5, circling my 6. Remember, my 7 just comes along for the ride, so anything past your underlined digit just comes along for the ride. Then you're looking at your 56. 56 is between 50 and 60. And that 6 tells me I'm going to round up to 760. So I have, let me write this, 756 rounded to 760 if I was talking about my tens place. Now if I want to round it to my hundreds, we have to do that again. So now I'm going to underline my hundred spot and circle my tens. And then 756 falls between 700 and 800. That 5 tells me I'm going to round up to 800. So 756 also rounds to 800. So it just depends where I'm asking you to round. I might be asking you to round to my tens place or my hundreds place. So be careful what I am asking. And notice again that the tens place ends with 1 0. My hundreds rounds with 2 zeros. Okay? So that's rounding for tens and for hundreds, and we did 2-digit, 3-digit, and 4-digit. Let me X this out. And this right here is what you'll be completing today. Your rounding task card, so you can see it says round the number below to the nearest 10, the nearest 10, 10, 10, 10. So you're doing tens for a little bit, and then it asks you to do hundreds, 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 hundreds. There's the 4-digit. Remember, you just bring the 6 along. You bring the 2 along. And then there's some mixed ones. So here's another 10, 10, 10, 10, 100, 100, 100, 100. Okay, so be careful. It says tens or hundreds. Be careful what it's asking for. And just you double click on the box and you write your answer. So you're doing this today. Please take your time and do it on your own. I really want to see what you can do. And then you also have your Friday math review. There's only 13 questions and it's all review. Be careful where it says right here, number 11, 12 birds in a cage, 8 birds flew out. How many birds are left? Careful what it's asking. Again, always try your best and message me if you have any questions.